Hi, my dear students. Now we are going to see how to type the code to make our 4 LEDs to light up and turn off using 4 loops. We're going to see while loops later. I rather that you understand perfectly the 4 loops. And once you open the Arduino IDE, and remember, now we're not using the Arduino Cloud. We are going to continue working in the Arduino IDE, which is the software that you downloaded in your computers, okay? Once you open it, it's going to open any other code that you already have written. So we're going to create a new sketch. So that's why you go to the upper part. In the upper left corner, you have the menus. And we're going to click where it says File, the File menu, and you're going to click where it says New Sketch. Okay. And here it's opening a new sketch. This is the one that we're going to use. And you can go and close the previous one. Okay, so we can keep working in this one. Let me make it bigger so you can see everything here. Good. And now, my dear students, this is a new sketch. Later, we are going to save it. Don't forget to always save your sketches because you will need them. So you can study, so you can solve challenges in the future. Okay, so we're going to write the comment that we usually type in the upper part of our code. So place the pointer in the line 1 at the beginning of the first line, and we're going to type enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we go to the line number 1. And in order to start typing the comment of more than one line, we are going to use a slash, asterisk, and then space, and we're going to write the code, the aim of this code. So code to make 4 LEDs to light up and turn off using 4 loops. Okay. In the next line, I'm going to place the pointer below the C of code, and I'm going to write the name of the author. In my case, my name. In your case, the name of both partners or the name of the trio. Okay, the 3 partners. Barbara, Salinas, enter, and the date, my dear students, today is September the 17th of 2024. Enter, and I'm going to close the comment of more than one line with asterisks and slash. Okay? That way the computer knows that you have finished typing the comment. Click enter twice, and there we do not need any indentation. So please go to the left with the backspace key, and here is where we're going to start declaring and initializing the constants and variables that we are going to use in our code. We're going to start with the constants for the number of the pins where we have connected the 4 LEDs and the push button. Okay, so we type const int const because this is a constant, int because we are going to save an integer number. This is the data type, remember? And now the name of the constant, which in this case is going to be pin green, because I have connected the green LED in that one, equals 2. I connected it. Remember, we connected it in the pin number 2. Don't forget the semicolon because it's important. If no, you're going to get an error when running your code. And then for the next, which is the blue, so the same thing. We are going to be able to copy this line, Control C, Control V, enter, Control V, enter, Control V, 4 times, okay? And we're going to write, instead of pin green, in the second one, we're going to type pin blue. And it is connected in the pin number 3. Then we have connected the white LED. So instead of pin green, we're going to type white. And it is connected in the pin number 4. And now we are going to change green for the last one, which is red. Red. And this one is connected in the pin number 5. okay? As you can see now we have declared and initialized the constants for the pins where we have connected the 4 LEDs, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these numbers must be consecutive numbers because that's the way we're going to be able to use or to create a for loop later, okay? And now for the push button, another constant, my dear students, const pin button equals 6. This is the pin where we have connected the push button. Now, we're going to declare the variable where we're going to save the state of the push button. Remember, if the push button is being pressed, it is going to send number 1, 1, 1. And if it is not being pressed, it is sending number 0, 0, 0, 0 through the wire, okay? So the name of this variable is going to be int, because this is a data type, as we are going to keep saving zeros and ones. Both of them are integers, that's why the data type is an integer, and the name of this variable is state button and semicolon, okay? We are not going to initialize it with any number because we are going to save there the values from that the push button is going to keep sending, zeros or ones. And now we are going to work or type the code in the void setup function. Remember that we type in the void setup function, we set which pins are going to be inputs or which pins are going to be outputs depending on the component that we have connected on it, okay? So I'm going to delete the comment here in the void setup. I already deleted the comment and we're going to start typing our code. The instruction that we use to set if the pin is going to be an input or an output for Arduino is the pin mode. So pin and then capital letter M, pin mode, we open parentheses, and we're going to say that pin green, comma, is an output. But why? Remember, imagine that you're Arduino and you're going to send the instruction to the LED to light up or turn off. So for Arduino, as it is sending the instruction, that's why this is an output, okay? So we're going to do the same. So we can copy this pin mode for the other pins, Control C, and here Control V, enter Control V, enter Control V. And we're going to change the name of the pins. Instead of green in the second one, blue, sorry, capital letter blue. Also, it is an output. And the next one is the white. And the next one is the red. Okay? So here we have the green, blue, white, and red. And now we have to set the pin where we have connected the push button. And check. Now, imagine that you are Arduino and you're going to start receiving the signals from the push button. So for you, for Arduino, this is an input because you're receiving the signals from the push button. If the push button is being pressed, it's going to send the signals to the Arduino, okay? So pin mode, so the same instruction, but instead of any LED, pin button, comma, and instead of output, input. In this case, this is an input. And we are done with the void setup function. And remember about the curly braces. This curly brace is closing the curly brace, which is opening here besides the void setup, because all these instructions are part or are in the void setup, okay? So you have to be careful not to have extra curly braces, or if you are missing a curly brace, which is opening or closing something. Now let's go and we're going to work in the void loop. We're going to delete the comment, this comment. And here we're going to start typing the code with the one we're going to make the LEDs to light up and turn off using for loops. So firstly, we need to save in the state in this variable, the state button, integer state button. We're going to save there the values that the push button is being sending, okay? And then we're going to compare if we are receiving a 0 or if we are receiving a number 1. So We're going to start state with lowercase letters, state, button equals, and we're going to make Arduino to go and read the pin where we connected the push button. Okay, so it is digital read with capital letter R, open parentheses, and here we're going to type pin button. Okay, this way, my dear students, check. Arduino is going to understand that we are, as we are sending this instruction, Arduino is going to say, okay, my students wants me to read the pin where they connected the push button, and I'm going to save those values, the values that the push button is sending in the variable state button. With this equal sign, we are assigning those values to the variable state button, okay? I hope it is clear. If not, you could ask. And then we're going to start with the if sentence, where we're going to type the condition to check if the push button is being pressed or no. So we type if, open parentheses, and the condition. If the state button equals 1, remember that if this is a condition, as in this case, we need to type the equal sign twice, because this is the way we have to, this is the way to emphasize if the value of which is saved in the state button variable is equal to 1. And then after the closing the parentheses, we are going to open the curly brace and check. When you open it, a closing curly brace is automatically created for you not to forget to close it. Then click enter, and there is where we are going to start typing the code, which is going to be part of this if sentence. Everything is going to be included inside the curly braces, okay? And okay, if the push button is being pressed, we want the LEDs to start lighting up. But now, instead of writing a lot of lines, imagine all these lines, the green one, the blue one, the white one, the red, and we're going to make them to light up and then turn off in different ways. No, instead of typing a lot of lines of code, we are going to optimize this code, and we're going to use for loops. So we're going to start with a for loop here. For, and this is new, my dear students, please pay attention. A loop is when we repeat the same instruction many times, the number of times that we desire, okay, that we want. So for, we open a parenthesis, and firstly, we are going to declare the variable with the one we are going to control this for loop. So as we're going to control it with an integer number, we're going to type int, okay? And then I, this is like X, Y, or Z, any number of the alphabet. This is our variable, the variable with the one we're going to control this for loop. Integer, which is int, I, and then semicolon, space, and we are going to type the condition. Sorry, let me go back. Please delete. For int I equals, and I am going to start with number 2. But why number 2? I equals 2. Because as you can see, the first LED that we connected in the circuit is connected in the pin number 2. Okay? That's why I am making this I to be equal to number 2. And later, you're going to see why. Then semicolon. This is the first argument that we have in the for loop, int I equals 2. And the second argument is going to be separated by this semicolon. Okay, so I'm going to type a space. And in the second argument, we are going to have the condition. And the condition in this case is going to be if I is less than or equal to 5. And why 5, teacher? Because the last LED that we connected is connected in the pin number 5. So we are going to, the I is going to be taking the values from 2 to 5 And it is going to start lighting up the LEDs one by one, or turn it off one by one, or lighting all of them at the same time, or turning off all of them at the same time. You're going to see how. Okay, so I want your full attention in this part of the lesson. Okay, so we have finished with the condition, semicolon here, besides the number 5, space, and then I plus plus. This is the increment. This increment, I plus plus, is the same thing as the type. I equals I plus 1, because it is going to add 1 unit to the value of I. Okay, so if in this case I start in number 2, and when it performs the instructions that we are going to type in a while, it goes and add 1 unit, and then it goes to the condition. I'm going to explain this in a while so you can understand it better. But you need to know that in the for loop, we have the for, we open the parentheses, and we have the first argument, which is the, when we declare the variable with the 1, we are going to control the for loop, and we initialize it with a number. In this case, I am initializing it with the number of the pin where we connected the first LED. The condition, if I is less than or equal to 5, because we are going to make the LEDs from the pin number 2 to the pin number 5 to light up or turn off. And then the increment or decrement, it could be also a decrement. Later, we are going to work with the decrements, but now I want you to think about the increment. Okay, now open a curly brace, enter, and inside these 2 curly braces, we're going to write the instructions that are going to happen in case that this condition in the for loop is true. Okay, so we're going to make the LEDs to light up one by one after 1.5 seconds. Check. And in order for us to do that, we are going to type this instruction: digital write with capital letter W, open the parentheses, and instead of writing the variable pin green, pin blue, or the number of the pin where we connected the LEDs, we are going to type I. Careful. Why? Because this I is going to take the values from 2 to 5 every time that it goes back to do the instruction. Okay, so I, comma, and in order to light up an LED, we could type the word high or the number 1. I'm going to type the number 1. To shorten, close the parentheses and semicolon. Enter, and now, after 1.5 seconds, we want the next LED to light up. And they are going to remain on. Okay, so the first one is going to light up, and then after 1.5 seconds, the second one is going to light up, and after 1 second, and both are going to remain on. After 1.5 seconds, the third one, and after 1.5 seconds, the fourth one. Okay, so let's continue working in this for loop. And delay, we're going to type a delay here, delay of 1,500 milliseconds. Close the parentheses and semicolon. Don't forget about the semicolon. And that's it. With this, we're going to make check. At the beginning, we have the variable I equals 2. And it checks, is 2 less than or equal to 5? As this is true, the program enters to the braces, and it's going to perform the first instruction, which is, okay, digital write. I'm going to make the LED which is connected in the value of I, which in this case is 2. And with the 1 is going to be, we're going to light up the LED for 1.5 seconds. When it ends in this part, it goes back to the third, to the parentheses, and it is going to add 1 unit with the third argument that says I plus plus. So I now is going to be I equals 2 plus 1, which is equal to 3. So now I equals 3, and it goes back to the condition, and it is going to check, is 3 less than or equal to 5? And as this is true, it enters again and performs the condition, but now it is going to light up the LED which is connected in the pin number 3 instead of the one that was connected in the pin number 2, okay? And then after 1 second and a half, it goes and increments 1 unit. So now I equals 4. And then it says, okay, so 4 is less than or equal to 5. As this is true, it enters and light up the LED, which is connected in the pin number 4. And after 1 second and a half, increments 1 unit. So now I equals 5, and it checks 5 is less than or equal to 5, as this is true, because this equal sign, and it is going to light up the LED, which is connected in the pin number 5, which is the red one. And after 1 second and a half, it increments 1 unit. So now I equal 6. It goes and checks 6 is less than or equal to 5. And as this is false, in this moment, it is not going to enter to the instructions that we have inside the for loop anymore. It skips this for loop and it continues with the rest of the code. Okay, let's continue so you can see what happens. Then, and my dear students, check. This curly brace is closing the for loop, and this other one is closing the if, but we need to continue working inside the if. Okay, so go to this curly brace, which is closing the for loop, click enter twice, and we're going to copy the for loop that we have here, Control C, and we're going to paste it here, Control V. Now we have two for loops, but I want this one to be in the same line of the first one and this one, okay? And now we have a for loop, we have the same thing. We can use, in the for loops, we can use the same variable, okay? We have I here, and also I have an I here, and it is possible. Now, I want to turn off the LEDs. With this for loop, the for loops are on now, but we need to turn them off one by one after 2 seconds. Now, in order to turn them off, instead of 1, we are going to type number 0 here, okay? Or the word low, with all of them with capital letters. It could be like this, remember, low, or number 0 to shorten. And instead of 1,500, I am going to make them to turn off after 2 seconds. It means that the for loops, the 4 LEDs are on, okay? So you're going to start turning them off one by one. So off, the first one, and after 2 seconds, the next one is going to turn off, and after 2 seconds, the next one, and after 2 seconds, the last one, okay? And the for loop is working the same way as in the first case. And now, my dear students, check. This curly brace is closing the for loop. Again, in that point, I don't want you to go and work out from the if sentence, okay? All the for loops are in the curly braces, which are included in the code for the if state. Now, here we are going to type enter twice, and we are going to paste again the for loop. Copy again the for loop, Control copy, Control V to paste it. Good. And now we are going to make, I want you to do this because I want you to, now you're going to make the 4 LEDs to light up at the same time, all of them, for 4 seconds, and then you're going to make the, you're going to turn them off after 4 seconds, okay? So check. Again, we're going to use the for loop with the same thing here, and digital right, the I, instead of 0, we need a number 1 to light them up, and the delay, here is the clue. The delay is not going to be included in these curly braces, which are part of the for loop. Control X, we are going to cut, and then place your pointer in the curly brace, which is closing the for loop. Click enter once, and Control V. So as you can see, the delay is not part of the for loop anymore. And this way, we are going to make the 4 LEDs to light up, all of them at the same time, and they are going to remain on for 4 seconds instead of 2,000 we are going to, sorry, my dear students, I don't know. Now, we're going to make it to light up for 4 seconds. Instead of 2000, 4000, okay? And remember, this last curly brace is closing the if. Don't touch, it is important. And then place the pointer of your mouse after the semicolon, where we have the 4000 milliseconds. Click enter twice. And we're going to copy the same for loop where we have the delay out of the for loop. Control C. And then here in the if sentence, we are going to paste it. Control V. And now we are going to make the 4 LEDs to turn off, all of them at the same time. And we're not going to use a delay anymore because this is the last action that we're going to do with the loop, with the LEDs, okay? So instead of number 1, we want them to turn off. Instead of 1, 0. And we're going to delete the delay, okay? Good. We can omit also this line. And now check. This curly brace is closing the last for loop, and this curly brace is closing the if. From here to here, we have the if. And the last curly brace, which is also very important, is closing the loop, the void loop. It is important for you to have all this. Well, my dear students, now we're going to upload, I'm going to connect my circuit, the one that we already connected a while ago. Okay, I have my wire here, my USB wire. I'm going to connect it to my computer. And now remember to check if you select other board. If you have selected here the R4, okay, the Wi-Fi is connected, is selected, which is a good one. And also I am going to select the serial port USB. Okay, click OK. So you don't have any doubt, any problem uploading. And if all the code is correct, hopefully, it is going to be uploaded. Okay, so I'm going to click in the little arrow that we have in the upper left corner so we can upload the code. It is compiling it. Jesus, let me check what was wrong. Check. It says instead of pin mode, it says pin mood with U. I'm going to change it. And again, I'm going to upload it. It is going to compile again. Compiling sketch, check, it's saying compiling. Okay, I think everything is okay now. It is uploading the code. When you see these lines and the percentages, it is uploading, and it is done. It is already uploaded. Okay, so this is the end of the code, and I'm going to show you now how the LEDs are lighting up and turning off when we press the push button. Well done, my dear students. Continue studying hard. We're going to continue studying much more things so you can create your automatic irrigation system later, which is the final project. See you later, and thanks for your kind attention.